What's up, peeps? It's the kid L.R.Player here, back with another podcast episode interview where I interview your guests, my guests, your peeps, our family from the jump rope community, where we share stories, just anything jump rope related, fitness, life stories, blase, blase. This particular guest is one of my major expos when I jumped into the game. My style is kind of like come from his style as he self-learned himself. Um, he showed you how to stay motivated. He showed you how to dream big when you start small. Um, and he has like one of the best number one jump rope brands on the internet in the world. So introduce my bruv, Rushie S.
How we
What's up,
doing?
brother?
What's happening, man? That was a good intro, man. You're too kind, bro. You're too kind.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, man. I'm proud to have been. I feel honored, to be fair, to be invited to your podcast, man. You're doing big things, man, and I'm excited to see where you go. Because right now, like the sky's the limit. I've already seen where you come from and like how far you've got. You got your podcast. You've already had guests, and it warms my heart, bro. Because this is the kind of shit that years ago, when people used to talk to me about why I'm doing what I'm doing. The dream was to see more and more people doing really good things for themselves, and that's apart from all the skipping and everything else. I think what you've done in the last few years
Mm-hmm.
alone, and like how many contacts you made, how many friends you made around the world, how many people respect you. Even when I meet people here in London and they talk about people in the community, they mention your name always. So I'm proud of you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's one of the things like you said, like when you do it alone. So, how did you like muscle up the mentality to like start where you started from, and it's just you building this from a ground up, just being that one man army from the beginning,
Bro,
like
like
the
is
mentality.
yeah, the mental thing is like I think from a young age I've always been like hyper competitive with like myself, and maybe like people around me, and like I've grown up always playing like lots of sports. I was pushed by my dad to be always good in school, like my grades and everything else, but I always had a passion for competition and just sports and just being active and everything else like that. So naturally, when I was going through these life paths of just university, then straight into work, then straight into the office, then looking around me, and I would instantly knew like this shit was not going to be me for the next 40 years. And that's no disrespect to anyone who works in an office or anything like that. I needed to be doing something that kept me or made me feel alive. So that mentality of growing up and just yeah wanting to succeed or wanting to be good at something or be the best, that was kind of like the root I guess introduction into when I picked up a rope, because it was that self. And you know what it's like, man. It's like you pick up a rope, and for the first time, if you can take yourself back, then like when you didn't know how to do anything, it's like the thought of just being shit. Sorry, am I allowed to start on this? I haven't checked with
Yeah,
you
man,
yet,
go
but
ahead, feel free, man. Go ahead.
the thought of being bad at something after like kind of growing up and trying to be really good at this thing and that thing and everything else and trying to be the best at it, it got to my head, man. Like it's like the rope never lies, man. I've always said this from day one. Like you miss a beat, you miss a step, and it will slap you hard. So I think the mentality was like already kind of there, but then as soon as I picked up a rope, I think that mentality just grew thicker and thicker, and stronger and stronger. So like that wasn't even me thinking about business at that point. That's just me against this thing. Like I've just seen, something like Mayweather, some certain boxers inspire me to pick it up for the first time. And the fact that I couldn't do anything they were doing like straight away was really like it was bugging the hell out of me.
Right.
So so like day in day out, you know what it's like, man. Just I think mentality wise to stay in the game and be consistent, it taught me from day one, because no one else online was really doing this. No one else was telling you stick with it, mate. Like it's gonna take time. You're gonna have a lot of patience. All the stuff I always say on all my videos. Like no one was there to say that. So when I was learning it, and then when I eventually got to somewhere good, when the videos started pouring out to the world and people then telling me how they were getting on, I instantly knew that something was kind of amazing with what was going on. That kind of makes
Yeah, I
sense.
used
I'm
to
not really
tell
sure.
people.
Yeah,
No, it does. It
yeah.
does. It does. Cause it's funny because my brother started a carpet cleaning business. So I actually watch him start it from the ground up instead of like having a van with a motor inside of the van. We had like the portables, tugging these portables up and down stairs, and so something like that. And watching you from all your vlogs, that like I can relate to you watching you starting from the ground up because I seen my brother do that with his carpet cleaning business. So that's why um, I can like respect people on the ground like that because you can see them coming from the ground up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's an
that's
everyday walk of life, man.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an
So with
everyday
the
walk of
jump
life.
rope, I used to tell people all the time, when I started with the legacy rope, like I used to get abused by that rope. Abused. I mean like abused. But that's one of those things that you do to get better. As time goes on. Um, for you to self I wanna say you self taught yourself, even though like you seen videos and you like break techniques down, like and you say you just do it for fun. So how is it now when you like turn something fun into like a job? Like does the
Yeah,
I honestly know the feeling don't go away of having fun with the rope, but like does the feeling change a little bit?
you know what? Like, I think when I reflect and think about it, like the early days were a lot more kind of raw. Like I'm not gonna lie, like it's now when I turn on the camera, like it's almost like I'm in motion. I know like how the setup is. I know what the video is gonna look like. I know what I need to say. I know what's gonna kind of be the end product. The early days is like it was so raw and it's just as exciting when I turn that record button on now today. It is really just as that exciting. But I think those days it was like a lot of nervousness, a lot of like, what am I doing? A lot of fear, a lot of kind of sometimes self weird embarrassment sort of feeling as well at the same time because I used to say to myself, bro, like you're an accountant, like what are you doing? Like you're not a YouTuber, you're not someone who's like comfortable on camera, you're not someone who, I the whole notion of a skipping coach, um, is, I've said it so many times, it was so weird back then. Like today it's like a very normal thing. I think a lot of people like have their own coaches, they pay for people online to teach them. Um,
Right.
so no, I think turning it into a job where now it's like, yeah, every day yeah, I am producing content for the sake of the brand and to promote the brand and everything else like that. I'll never take it for granted, man. Like uh, it's it's like living for me now, which is the best job in the world. It's like literally I get to wake up and I am Rush. Like you met me in person and hopefully you can agree.
Y-
Like I am hopefully the same guy you see on
Nah,
camera
yeah.
because
Most definitely. Most definitely.
thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot because
You
I
are.
think I try to be in the sense of like just be as normal and take it day by day. I've got big plans. I've got big dreams. I think I have a long enough vision that I can see where this company will go. But
Mm-hmm.
the company, in a weird way, is a byproduct of the dream, and the dream wasn't a company. The dream was people like yourself and people around the world who have anyone's rope, man. Yeah, it has someone else's brand or has something else. Like it doesn't have to be an RA rope. It just has a rope in their
Right.
hands and they understand the power of it. So converting it into a job, back to your question, is just I think a little bit more pressures on me now because this I've got no fallback plan. Before I had the accounting career, I had the office career. Now it's like every day I'm having to, yeah, nurture my mind to make sure that I've got the next step in place. I can't just wing it like I used to.
That's where I'm at right now, where I'm just like winging it, and I be having like so many. Since I done set it down, like I still have. Oh, I'm messing up the lighting. I have so many ideas that I want to record, but it's almost kind of like impossible to try to get to them. So how do you structure the ideas and structure how you lay out the ideas of videos before you produce them?
So I mean, you're super. I want to say you're super unique. And I'm not just bigging you up here. Like yeah, I
Right.
say it to you all the time. Like your style and your skills. There's not many people in the world that can say they can do what you do with a rope. So your library of what you can promote out there or teach is phenomenal. Like it's as big a library as I can only maybe name a couple of other handful of people that can do what you do. So I would almost say, as advice, is what you do on a day-to-day basis, or what you're going through in your mind, jot it down on your notes on your
Mm-hmm.
phone or something like that. I used to go on the train, and instead of doing my emails, which I was meant to be doing, I was getting ideas in my head like, okay, what move am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to learn this move, and then I'm going to make a video about it. And my structure was that it was literally video, record, edit, finish, then idea. Like it wasn't like I had a structure in the sense of like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm doing X, Y, Z. It was
Right.
like I had one plan. It was okay, I've got this move down, um, and this is how I'm going to teach it. I'm going to do a video, and then once that's out of the way, then I'll go through my list. So I'll just literally be jotting things on my notes, and I'd have videos after videos after videos. And then I was actually just trying to put myself in other people's shoes. So I knew at the time when I created, stuff about the Mayweather videos, like that really kick started my YouTube channel. So nowadays, I guess there isn't that new generation of boxers coming in with new moves. If anything, it's people like you
Right.
or someone else who's creating unbelievable new combinations. So my titles were like how to do this like Mayweather, how to do that like Mayweather, how to do this like a boxer. And now we've taken skipping so far that boxers won't have a clue like what the hell to do. Like in the sense of that's
Yeah,
you know, so
right.
so video title wise, you've got such an abundant set of skills, bro. Like in I honestly just think you could go through each move like 5 times, just entry into the move or beginner steps into it, how to then combine it with this move. I think I'm the worst person in the sense of like getting structural organizational advice from, because I am so I even to this day, man, I my process is I'll only concentrate on one video, then it's
Right.
done. And if the camera's still rolling and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go again, then I'll bang out another video. But I don't have any scripts, I don't have any charts of what days I'm uploading and filming. I am very much the story of like the guy who winged his way into something and just just trying to carry that wave.
That's sometimes some similar with like when I be making reels. Like especially when I first started, like when I had the opportunity, I bang out like two reels or two combos, and then I kind of spread it out throughout the week until like almost the next opportunity that I get to bang out another one or two combo the following week. So that's kind of
Yeah.
I kind of want to break out of that, but it's like as soon as I hit one, then I have another idea real quick. So I'm like, man, let me get this because I might forget or I might not get it as clean as I wanted to the next time around.
No, it's a good way. The thing is, yeah, like I've always I've always kind of I've had to adapt a lot in the sense of like I've seen social media change quite a bit since when I started. So when I first started making videos, there was only 15-second videos. So in
Right.
that 15 seconds, and those were fun times. I still am like a bit of a dinosaur in the sense that I do like the old school social media, the old school kind of way of thinking. Like, pictures spoke 1,000 words, like for real then. And now that beauty of pictures has gone. So everyone knows that the attention is with videos, which I completely respect. But like those days, in those 15 seconds, you had to get as much flipping information into one video to capture someone's attention. In today's world, you've got the music at your fingertips. You've got so much creativity going around you. You can get different ideas, some trends. I feel like people's attention
Right.
span is on the decline, like on social media, especially like on Instagram. They're just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. So like to be someone to create a video to kind of capture someone's attention, I think people are putting sometimes a bit too much pressure on themselves because they understand um, people out there want to see certain types of things. But I've always maintained the stance. Again, I'm kind of coming to my point here. I've always maintained the stance that like I started as someone who wanted to teach skipping, so a lot of my content will always have some form of value. And
Right.
so, as although I don't structure what I'm doing, everything I try to post has to hopefully have some sort of hidden motivation or hidden value. And if it doesn't, then it needs to have something that kind of either entertains or gives someone some joy. So as long as it ticks those kind of boxes, I
Right.
will post it. If I'm just posting something for the sake of, oh, I haven't posted for 5 days and I need to just do something, then I won't post it. Um, and I think that's where I'm at. I think I've always maintained that my title in the Instagram bio has never changed. So Rushie S, the jump rope coach. So it has to all
Right.
feed into some kind of coaching. That kind of makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Like you always in coaching mode, so like everything that you put out, anything that you put out, got to have some value to it. So that's
Exactly. Yeah.
understandable. A couple of business questions. Number one, do you have the same feeling when you put out new product as you do when you first dropped the OG Yellow Money rope? Do you have that same
Uh,
feeling?
that's a good question, man. That's a really good question. I You got me thinking. You got me thinking. I think every launch is very different. Um, every launch has a different feel, a different vibe. I think as I've got older and as I've got like more into the business, again, there is a lot more pressure. So that's
Right.
always a new vibe. The OG rope release, like money rope release, like 6 years ago, I almost feel like it was a time in my life where it's like a fuck it moment in my life. Let's just give it a go, you know? And now, you drop a Nova Rope launch and like you put like 80, $90,000 into it. Like, you don't have that fuck it kind of mentality. You're like thinking, okay,
Right.
this needs to be good, or this needs to be what you want it to be. So I think, yeah, the pressure and the sense of like, you're putting quite big amounts of investments. My earlier ropes obviously never had that kind of R&D or kind of sampling. I try and share as much as I can online just so people get an understanding of what's happening. But yeah,
Right.
I like that question. I think it's just as exciting, but the little hints and little flavors of fear give it it's like a weird feeling. It's always exciting. When you make a product, bruv, when you bring something new to the world or something that's unique or something that's cool, I think I'm in a position that not many people have a chance to be in, and I'm really grateful for it. You're taking an industry or you're moving something so big um, forward, and if you're involved in something like that, it's a beautiful feeling. So I don't think it can ever be less exciting. It's obviously exciting, but it's mental when you look back on it, because that first rope release was just like, okay, let's put $500 down and see if we can shift these ropes.
Right.
Maybe you might have them locked up in the store cupboard for like a year, maybe 6 months, who knows? And then when that got sold out in 3-4 days, um, then we started to think, this could be something crazy. It's kind of crazy, yeah. I mean, look at you, man. Like, did you think like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, you'd be sitting on an armchair talking about skipping, or to other
No, not
people
at
around the
all.
world,
I didn't even
strangers?
think I was gonna be like talking to people like out of this country, like out of the U.S. Honestly, probably not even out of this state. To be honest with you, like I'd have never
It,
imagined. And to be honest with you, I have more friends like out of the state, out of the country than I do in the country. Just like if you see my profile, you can just see like
yeah,
all
yeah,
my
yeah.
people just scattered out everywhere. Um,
Same. And imagine like me going through this motion and no one around on Instagram. I say no one. I could still count like a handful of people. There's still we got Bernadette from New York. You've got some
New York, yep,
OGs who have been there from day one. And so like imagine just a world where this was getting no attention, no one connecting and being cool and sending nice messages. It's like imagine a zombie apocalyptic world of skipping. So there's no one about, and you're like the one and twos. Like there's someone out here in New York. There's someone here in the UK, and to see now in every corner of the world, I would imagine even every major city on the planet has a
right,
community or has a face. It's
yes,
freaking
a
sick,
group.
man. Uh,
Yeah, like it had expanded big. Like there's a like Facebook groups or like Instagram page groups now in major cities, which that is lovely. Um, yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. It's crazy, and I
yeah,
see all of it too. Well, I'm kind of jealous because there's like nowhere around me doing it. So
it's hard. It's hard.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, because
um,
it takes a bit of time, though, innit? Where you're at and how big America is, and like, uh, you know, we spoke about it years ago. I remember you telling me you started doing classes and things like that. So you're doing the right things. It's working.
yeah, slowly, but I keep pushing it. I get a little breakthroughs here and there around where I'm at, so I take those small wins when I can.
Yeah,
I take
and
the
also to
small
be fair,
wins
like
when I can.
you know now, like if you were to go to like the majority of states in America, I bet you could link up with at least one person,
Oh yeah, no doubt, no
which
doubt.
is
Just put the word out there and somebody pop up. That's how big
Larry,
it's grown now, though.
Larry in the building. Yeah, because when did you
Part two.
start? When did you start exactly?
Um, whenever COVID hit, whenever COVID hit, that year, um, and then so I was watching jump rope dudes, right? And I was
Yeah,
trying to, and I was learning to move, and I had this cheap Nike rope. The handle was weighted, but the cable was like super thin. So I thought I was just terrible. So I was doing their videos trying to work out. I come across yours, and like I told you before, you sold me the fact that like the heavy rope give you stamina, give you endurance. Because I was skinny and frail, so I didn't have no weight to lose. And so when I ordered at that time, when I went to your website, that's the only thing you had was like the legacy rope at that time, no money rope or nothing. So I'm like,
oh, that's when I
oh,
was
I'm
sold out. Yeah,
good. So yeah, and so I'm good. So I ordered that, and it came a month later. So that had to been like May of that year, and
2020.
I
Yeah,
think I
I
was
actually
skipping. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was literally just looking back at some of my old camera reels and videos, and I had a video of you in your garden, and you had just I think you just copped like some merch from us, like the Fly Performance tracksuit, and you were super slim, and you had the fence behind you, so you were in that setup, and you had the legacy rope, and I was thinking, the muscle mass you put on in that time, and like just how different like your techniques and everything guys is phenomenal, man. I was thinking it's just two different humans. You literally turn into like a Superman of skipping. You should share more of
Basically,
that,
it's
man.
all
Some
from
of the
the legacy
old
rope.
school videos.
Yeah,
Those
from the
original
legacy
legacy
rope.
gang, man.
So yeah, that was massive. That was accidental, but that caught on like at least like 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after like me and a couple of more people just started doing it, and that was
Yeah.
crazy. That was a crazy movement.
No, good times, man.
Um, so part B of my business question is, you had like some failures as far as like products goes. How did you bounce back, or what did you learn from those products that didn't meet like the RA expectation, or if it did had like the RA
Yeah.
expectation?
I'll reverse that one, right? So what is the RA expectation? So the RA expectation is when we try and bring something to the market. Again, I'm always looking to add something like different, hopefully, like add value and things like that. And one of the things that we don't have a lot of expectation, I mean, maybe not hard to believe, is actually clothing. So clothing has always been a
Right.
very strange one because a lot of my following or a lot of the people who buy merch are from overseas. And so the British styles and what we do here and how we wear things and is never going to be the same as how you guys rock your clothing or like your styles or what's new in
Right.
fashion. And I've never been a fashionista. So I'm not the kind of, like these kind of top guys like who design clothes with Louis
Y-
Vuitton and all this kind of stuff. So the expectation on clothing has always been low for me, as in I just like to make things that I would personally wear or enjoy and has a little bit of like style. But that's where, if anything has been like a bit of a bummer sometimes, it's sometimes the clothing. And that's just because I do invest a little bit here and there on different materials. I do like lots of sample check. I try to do everything the right way, in my opinion, rather
mm-hmm.
than just kind of buying something cheap from China and everything else or like Asia. Like you can buy really cheap stuff, and I think you can then
Right.
just put anything onto it. Whereas I would kind of go out my way and I'd try and find like I'd always be trying to find like the most softest cotton or the different stretchy material, and I'm like trying to put in an effort, but I kind of have a low expectation. So when it comes to failures, majority of I'd say failure in the sense of like something doesn't like fly off the shelf, and like I've had apparel that stayed on the shelves for like a long time, bro. Like I've still got stuff on my shelves downstairs that I brought like 2 years ago. So that to
Oh
me is
wow.
like, yeah, that to me is what we consider slow moving stuff. A lot of
Yeah.
it was driven by like a ladies collection. So the ladies collection is something that, again, it's kind of like a pro and a con. Like, we had a lot of ladies at one point saying to me, make some RA women's line only. So we did quite a big collection. It was called like the Raw
The
collection. I don't know if you
raw
remember this.
collection, yeah.
Yeah. And again, the first ever time I ever made an RA jacket. So even the men hadn't like them. I never even made a jacket for myself. So I made a jacket for the ladies first. There's like this crop bomber, some really nice stylish leggings. Some it's like a whole new set. And the way we kind of wanted to market that was, for the everyday lady girl who follows me, wants to do some skipping and doesn't want to pay as much as they do maybe for like a Lululemon or, I don't want to
Yeah.
mention
Or
too many
some of the
brands, but
popular brands. Yeah.
yeah, so we tried to just make it as affordable as possible, and then what we found with that is I got all the sizing. I didn't get all the sizing wrong, but when you buy in bulk, you have to segment the sizes by size, right? So
Right.
I kind of know as a guy what's the popular sizes for guys. Like I know like kind of like the mediums, the larges will be the popular ones. I may have like a little bit of XL stuff. I know you like to buy some XL stuff because you're a taller guy. But for the
Yeah,
ladies
because
stuff,
they'll be gone by time.
yeah, yeah. And the problem was for the lady stuff, I didn't get the what's the word, the sizing, I would say completely correct. So
Right.
all the popular sizes were like kind of small and extra small, and I kind of just divided it up kind of like equally. So those small and XLs, extra smalls kind of went quickly, and then I was like left with really big sizes, which kind of makes me feel
Ah.
like the people following are like kind of in good shape. I don't know, or bad. However you want to look at it, I don't get myself in
Well,
trouble.
well, it's
But
kind of well, it's kind of hard
but
to judge. Like, say, well, it's kind of hard to say that like you got it wrong. It just, uh, I don't know. Maybe you just didn't expect like a majority of people would get that particular
on the
size, and it'd be go
yeah
quicker. Then, yeah,
yeah. So I mean, again, this is like these are I'd say not small failures. They're failures in the sense of like I've got stuff that hasn't moved. But what going back to your question, like in terms of like ropes and things like that, like I I may have made some, yeah, maybe mistakes on colors ordered, or maybe too many 11 foots. Like these are kind of like small generic kind of I'm nitpicking a little bit, but it's clothing that's usually the kind of hit and miss for me. But like when it
hmm,
comes to kind of learning from that or where I go forward with that, I have a kind of philosophy when it comes to my products, and the ropes will always be the main driving force of like how my mind works. The clothing is
hmm.
like the fun, the joy, or like, okay, you know what, I fancy a yellow hoodie. Like I haven't made one for a while. I'm gonna try and make one, or try and make a design. And we're going down a path with the clothing. I don't know. We haven't really had a chance to discuss it offline, but where I want to do as many kind of designs and customization prints as possible. We found like really good, I think, anyway, cuts and threads. So I am trying to improve in
Right.
the sense of like I want to now make it more versatile, like not just have one collection, one design, literally have like loads of designs available. So hopefully we can kind of like cater to as many people as possible who sometimes like big prints, small prints, um, yeah, oversized, all that kind of stuff.
Uh, so let's get to your other form of fitness. So I know, do you ever still get up with Cut Defy, or
Yeah,
is he
I
just
mean
too busy?
he's busy. He's just had a kid now, so he's got a baby boy now, so he's kind of busy right now. But we used to gym it out a lot, man, and those are good times, man. I've been a bit rubbish when it comes to the gym. We'll say, man. I'm trying to actually like get a routine in my life at the moment because I'm finding myself every day. Uh, I built this place so that I could feel comfortable and get my work done, and make it feel like it was just not work and life. And you've seen some of the clips and the videos in here, like it's like literally like a world in its own. But
Right.
what that's led me, yeah, what that's kind of led me down now that I've been here for like 6 7 months is I can't leave the place. So it's a case of I get involved in something, a project or an edit or other business stuff, and then I'm neglecting the gym. So yeah, in terms of fitness, I'm just stepping back on the weights now.
on the scene.
I've yeah, I've lost a little bit of weight, lost a little bit of muscle. I was never a big guy anyway. I find it hard to put on
Right.
muscle mass, but well, I'll be back with Joey, man. Joey's a good guy to train with.
Yeah, we missing the Fly Define series.
Yeah, the flight.
Missing
You
this Fly
see,
Define series.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna send him this link to this podcast. I've been telling every time I chat to him every single week. I'm like, bro, we need to get a workout video because he to be fair, like he's got so many different moves in his like locker in terms of like body weight exercises and everything. It just worked really nice when we used to do that, and then
Mm-hmm.
we just literally haven't picked it up since COVID, and it's just both of our lives have just like not really kind of crossed how they used to. But they were good videos,
Right.
man. I almost feel like the workout videos, although they were never like my kind of core style of videos, they
Right.
were they were always good. I always felt like like there was a few people that used to kind of tune into them every single week. So I'll try and get
Yo,
back
they
involved.
were actually fun. You know what I'm saying? Just something simple, 10 minutes, and like you said, your skipping coaching and his body weight is kind of it almost like it was like almost a perfect jail. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it worked good, man. I remember my body was changing. It was nice. It felt good. I've almost like this year. I've just I haven't got into a slump or anything. I haven't got into like a rut. I never really feel like that. But like I've I've neglected that portion of my life for uh, this place. Like this place, I when I first moved in, I thought it'll be the same everyday kind of plain sailing how we were doing it. But it's like now the the game has got a lot more like serious
Serious.
after you have a place
Yeah.
like this. Yeah, like the costs involved to run it, um, the ideas that I need to come out with, the people that we're talking to on the side to try and make big things happen. And so,
Right.
yeah, man, I'm inspired by you, though, man. When I see the gains you're making all the time, so I need to step back on it.
You must didn't see the video today, did you?
No, I haven't been on my phone
Oh,
too much today.
well, you'll see it later. Um, so whenever you whenever you have a moment, right, and you step away from the business, step away from the building, you find yourself on the golf course now. Tell me
You know
how
me too.
that came about.
You know me too well, man. To be fair, it's a new addiction, man. It's so you know what? Like I played golf like in the States. So my uncle who was in America, who's in California, I'd go see him like now and then as a kid. And he'd take me to like the driving range. So he was like into golf. But here, like in the UK, like golf was seen as like this kind of like old man sport. It was almost like it was only meant for like kind of snotty people, rich people, whatever it was, until Tiger Woods came along. But I used to be okay at it going to the driving range, but it was never my thing. So when COVID hit, I was like, oh, you know what? Like my uncle sadly passed away, and because he was such you know a good a good golfer in the sense of like he used to take me to golf. I kind of felt the need to try and get back into it. He sadly passed away from COVID. And so I thought during COVID, I was like, this is the only thing that's open, which was a driving range or people playing golf because it was like out in the fields. So I was like, okay, I'll play some golf because he always told me, he said, you could be good if you put your mind to it. Like you've got a nice
Right.
natural swing or whatever it is. So yeah, obviously it was like sad times for us, but then I thought, okay, let me just go play a bit of golf, and I just literally got so addicted to this thing, bro. I don't know, I'm not like great at it, but like I think I've got like a hidden talent somewhere inside me that I'm like itching to try and get better and better. And then I started to realize like I don't before this point, I never used to literally come off my phone. Like everything was either scrolling for a song or an idea or getting back to people and messaging and video editing and blah blah blah. That I just thought, you know what, like this is a sport that actually takes me away from my phone. Like for 4 hours or 3 hours, I can just walk, see get some nature, breathe some fresh air, and not worry about
Mm-hmm.
too much like what's going on my phone or emails and all this. And that's where that kind of drive came in because mentally I was feeling a little bit drained around that time. I can't lie. There's lots of stuff happening in my personal life, and yeah, it was a distraction, but at the same time, it was like a new challenge because it's similar to skipping. I find with golf, and I'm not going to sit here and kind of promote golf on a jump rope podcast, but it's
It's all
for
good.
someone.
This is we all
Yeah,
fitness right here, man.
yeah, but in terms of kind of like your mental game, if you're someone like me who like again just wants to get like really good at something, this is one of the hardest things I've ever tried. So you're just trying to fly like a little ball, like 500 yards down the grass into like a little cup, with like pinpoint accuracy. It's cool, man. And you know what?
Right.
It's a good like it's got a good like kind of vibe and energy when you play with other people and friends and things like that. So that's where it is right now for me. Like it's kind of like a challenge, and at the same time, it takes my mind. And also, a lot of good ideas come on the golf course. Like a lot of my best ideas, um, like stories I've had of Rush.Athletics coming to me and in a cafe. We call it shisha cafes here, but it's where you basically smoke like the I don't know what
The
you guys
hookahs.
call it over there. Hookah, yeah. That was an
Hookahs,
inspiration
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's where RA was started. And on the golf course is where I have like a lot of ideas, like a lot of like the Nova rope launch or anything like that is like ideas and the videos and things are just me walking around looking at like a random tree or something, looking for my ball, and like I just start thinking about something to do with like a launch. It's kind of weird, but
This
you know
ain't
what?
weird. You just
I see
always
you.
in a business mindset, man. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I
There's
can't
nothing wrong
stop
with
thinking,
that.
man. I can't stop thinking about. If I saw you on the driving range, man. You're gonna pick it up, yeah?
Yeah, I often ask you, have you noticed a lot more jump rope skippers be out on the golf course swinging, even if it's just like at the driving range? Have you noticed that?
No,
Had you
I
not
don't know.
picked? Yeah,
I think
it's quite a
you
few
might
of
be the
us
first
been
person
out
I've
there.
seen. Yeah,
Yeah,
that can't be nothing to do with me,
Alvin.
right? Alvin's pretty
Yeah,
sick though. I think he's been
yeah,
golfing for a while though.
yeah. Alvin been out there.
I
It's
think
a lot of us.
there's a there's actually like a good what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, there's like a connection between I think skipping and golf somewhere there. And one day I don't know, I'll try and unlock it, but I'm gonna try and maybe go into like YouTube golf at one point, maybe when I get a bit older. I've started a
Can you
channel
come
just
up
for a
with
bit of fun.
three? Can you come up with like two similarities or two connections between golf and skipping?
So, so I think focus is definitely one of them. You cannot. I feel you can sometimes skip like on robot mode or automatic mode. I know it can happen because when you get that to that level where you can do it with your eyes closed, you may think that you don't
Yeah.
need a lot of focus. You don't need a lot of focus, but I think there is focus still there for skipping, especially when you're trying to do something quite creative. With golf, you blink or you forget what you're doing, or the game's finished. Like you can't hit a ball. And I've had rounds
Right.
like that. I've had rounds where I can play like I think I'm Tiger, and then I go back the next day and I can't hit the ball because I'm thinking about something or like my mind's not there. So that's one similarity. The second one is I think definitely is like the hand-eye coordination. So like me doing skipping, I think has led me to be able to get to grips quicker than I think most people would, or the average person, just because I can channel the signals quicker, or I can do something in my head that I can look at someone swing, or I can look at something on YouTube and figure out why that player can hit it straight, or what they're doing with their hands, and I can kind of like imitate. So I think there's some good similarity somewhere there. I think skipping, to be
Well,
fair, can be.
I would have definitely said the hand eye coordination for sure, but you got me with the focus one. Even though that's a
Yeah,
very good one. That's a very good one.
100.
That's a very good one. You being like a self-taught person, since you just literally said that, um, because I'm kind of like the same way. I could see something and I could dissect it by seeing it, but I can also like learn if like somebody just talk to me about it or show me. So is that like the same way with you, or you just or do you learn just a certain way, like just looking at it and dissecting it and like
Yeah,
um
I, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think it's yeah, people learn in different ways. I think I've because I was never coached like one on one, or someone wasn't there to see me kind of mess up or what I was doing wrong.
hmm
Most of the time, unless I'm like doing like a video, for example, like on like releases with like Lauren jumps, and she can tell me exactly what the fuck I'm doing wrong. But like, I think some of the earlier days where I was taking the slaps and the beats and all that kind of stuff by trying to think I was this sick guy being able to do like five crossovers at speed and then always tripping up. Like I was almost kind of. I almost learned a new skill, which was coaching myself. And that, I think that's the difference, is that if sometimes someone tells me something, oh no, you got to do it like that, I almost feel like I kind of need to see them do it first if they are the elite of
Right.
doing it. That kind of makes sense. If someone just
No,
says
it
to me,
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, like I I almost, because I've gone through it I say the hard way in skipping, visually watching it and then trying to put it into practice and then trying to develop on a lot of those Mayweather techniques. Like a lot of the combinations and patterns, were all of them were new to me at the time. I'd sit there and I'd be like, okay, double under crossover, fine, I can do that now. But then how do you then move into this move and this move? Like, because I didn't have that visually, I almost learned by taking the beatings and taking the slaps. And then sometimes when I look back on those videos, I actually thought I was really good then. Like, I look at them and at the time I was like, I am the dog's bollocks, man. Like, I'm sick at this thing. And then I look back at it now, I was like, this is so off. Like, so many things are so off. So I think continuously I'm always trying to make something look a lot better. And I think
Right.
even at the time then, I almost kind of knew that it wasn't right. So I'm 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 self-taught as it gets, but at the same time, I'm kind of a guy who, even if it looks good to me or feels good to me, I still won't be happy. So I almost will go at it again and again and again. And I think all of us
Oh
have that same
yeah.
trait.
That's all of us right there.
Yeah, that's all of us,
That's
right?
all
And
of us doing it.
we had Lauren. I had Lauren here, and we're doing some squat jumps, and whoever's idea it was, we were like, okay, let's get something for Instagram. So we're doing it for YouTube, and then we thought, okay, let's get a nice Instagram video. And I was like, okay, why don't we try and do this in sync? Like, why don't we try and time this move together, where we try and move from a double under crossover or like a double cross jump into a squat jump. I'd never done this before with someone else trying to do it in the same time. And so
Right.
when we did this, we both looked at the camera and we were like, yeah, that's off. We need to do it again. I kid you not, we must have done 70 different runs. Yeah. Because
I
each
think
of
she
us were not
put that
happy
on
with
one of her
something.
vlogs.
Yeah,
I
it
think she
was on the
put that
vlog,
clip
I
on
think.
one of her vlogs, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And literally it must have been over, at least over 30 clips. I'm not exaggerating. So that must have been about 25 minimum, 30 clips or so. And there's something that if I thought was okay, this on the timing, she didn't like the way that she did her jumps, or then I didn't like the way I did my jumps. And then, I think we're constantly like, we're different breeds, man, us type of people around, because I
It's
think
the
that's
curse of
how we
being a
learn, isn't it?
perfectionist.
Yeah, but I think that's how we learn. I think, coming back to your question, you're right. It's in I visually see something, I know it looks good, but then I then try and do it myself, or whatever it is. I try and teach myself, and I'm never happy. It's a bit of a curse, to be fair, but
It is.
I I mean, these YouTube videos that I do now, they're a lot better. Like, when I first started, um, you can imagine the amount of mess ups, because I was still a beginner then. Like, I was a beginner first of all, trying to teach and coach and speak on camera, which I was like stuttering all over the place. I was messing up my lines. I was nervous. Lighting was terrible, echo everywhere. And then at the same time, I'm trying to talk and coach and skip, and so nowadays I'm better at that. So the any read runs or retakes and all that, like Nathan is the truth. Like, he would tell you how many runs some of the tutorials took. Like, we were out there busting, yeah, dripping sweat, everything.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, because I'll look back at it and he'll say, looks good, bro. Looks good. I think we got it. And I'll be like, just one more. And then we will probably end up taking the first take. That's how it goes. So, yeah, especially when we do like the shoots, right? Like, when we used to go to London and shoot like campaign videos, or like those kind of motivational videos, we'd have people around us like watching what we were doing, and
Right.
they're probably thinking, why are they doing the same shit, like the same walk, same bossy walk, or like or like the kind of same moves, and Nathan running across roads and stuff. It's Yeah, I think we are perfectionists. I think we've got some sort of OCD that I never had in my life before. What
That's
you like when you record your videos? Like, are you like a one take guy?
no. 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 So a lot of my sessions, like when I do a session, it's so with me, I have like a particular move or a particular like 1, 2, 3 move combo, whatever. So then I kind of like freestyle the beginning and I kind of freestyle the end. But I try to set myself up for that particular combo I want to go to,
Yeah.
and I do it, and I go run, look at it, and I'm like, no, a little bit too much flex on the knees, or I must have did this swing cross, and my body was like kind of like this, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, and I switch, and then like I learned I had to take moves out, or I had to add another move, take a move out, add another move, and sometimes it take me like I don't know, maybe like 20, 25 minutes just to get it close to how I picture it in my mind, and that do be frustrating. And then I'm like, you know what? Either I'm gonna put out this video, or I'm gonna sit in the backboard and try it again, like the next couple of days when I'm fresh again. But it'll be fresh in my mind, and I know how to do it. But that's usually my take. But like when people see me do whatever I do, they just think it's just natural, but it's never natural. Not at all. Not no
It's
one
never
take. Not
it's it's natural, man. It's kind of natural, but it's yeah, it's never. It's I know it's not never one take in the sense of like everywhere I look, I know it's never one take, but it's natural in the sense that you can still pull off something as crazy as the stuff you do, even if it's 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 15 or 10, 5. Um, it's still that one time, which is like it's always good, man. I think when I watch your videos, I think, and this is what sort of I kind of I know about just knowing you as well because we met in New York. Is I think you just have a genuine love for what you're doing. I think you don't chase trends. I don't think you chase clout or recognition or attention. And I think that's the pure thing about this community is there's a lot of people like you as well who just love sharing what you're doing and you're building and building and building so much. And it's like everyone watches your stuff and yeah, you amaze us, man. Like it's literally like freestyle or it's boxer style or it's heavy rope or it's yeah, man, it's mad. I don't even know how you do it, honestly. Because someone of your stature as well, like it should be more of a struggle to be able to get into the positions that you do. So
I talk about like
yeah,
with the
man.
heavy ropes or just like
Even with the
with the
beaded and stuff
mobility
like that,
stuff.
the mobility stuff, even when you're like, yeah, when you're busting like those under the leg crosses and I don't know, I don't even know the official names. I should do, but I know Lauren was trying to teach me something. Toads and all this kind of stuff behind the back crosses. Hey,
Yeah.
you,
I honestly like work on mobility like at home. So that's
mm,
probably like one of the main key I'm able to do that. Cause I do work on it at home, trying to get like my knee as high as I can and try to keep a straight back, a straight posture up and down instead of slouching over. So a lot of
mm.
that is like for me doing like stretching and mobility drills at home. So that's where that come from. A lot of that.
See, so that's another video idea for us. Then we need to see your mobility stretches a little bit more. Give us your top five stretches, man. Look, note that down, man. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Anyway,
that.
but are we going to see some more long form content from you? Yeah, on YouTube.
Man, I need to get back into it. I need to get back into it. I do have a good idea. I discussed with you on that idea in the background, but I do have a really good idea that was brought to my attention, and I'm gonna need like probably like some more research and like more background details before I like throw it out there because I'm not like official PT, official trainer, so I don't know like all the muscle groups or nothing like that. So, but yeah, I do got a real good idea though.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're showing what you're doing,
Right.
no one needs to know what the rhomboid. I don't even. You've seen me. I mean, if
See,
you watch my videos,
I would have butchered
all I
that.
know is yeah, all I know is rotator cuff. I talk about the rotator cuff all the time. I still don't know where it is, but I know that's the main one that I use when I talk about techniques. But no, man, I think if you get the long form, you're a busy guy. I know you wake up early and everything else. You're up before I am sometimes UK time, which is crazy. I see you messaging like when like, and I'm like, hold on, this guy is 6 hours behind, and he's messaging before I've even woken up here. But no, you're a busy guy. But like when I used to kind of get into YouTube, it's quite a daunting place in the sense of like how much time goes into like one video or an edit, and long form content is a different animal. But some people are made for it, and I think you're one of those kind of guys. I think you may think you're kind of like not great, or you may think that it's going to be difficult. But if you can put some time aside, I used to basically put at least my goal at one point when I was in the office was just try and do 3 videos, like figure it out during the week. But
Mm-hmm.
3 videos, you need to do at least 3 videos. And if I didn't get 3 videos, if it was 2 videos, it was fine. But I don't know if you've seen some of my old stuff, but I didn't even get changed. I'd come home and I was still in a shirt and tie,
Yeah, doing Q&As and
and doing Q&As. I'll be talking like this on the camera, and it's embarrassing when I think, not embarrassing, but it's kind of cool. But as in, that's the level mindset. I think that anyone getting into YouTube is just, don't worry too much about the finished article, because no one's going to be the finished article. I'm not the finished article. My camera, my setup, and my lighting, everything looks nice now in the sense of I've been able to reinvest. But some of the old lighting that I had, like, and all the cameras and the microphones and what I was wearing, it was just a joke. Like, anyone watching it back then, like the followers that I had, that's how I know they were true
mm-hmm.
followers, because who wants to see a guy in a suit talking about skipping? Like, it makes no sense. It's just, it actually makes no sense. So there's gonna
I,
be people out there, man, that hopefully be rooting for you.
so I before we get out this last one, so I always see or find you as like a motivation or inspirational speaker. Like, do you ever think about seeing yourself like as a public speaker, as far as like talking from experience, not like from your situation, but like talking from experience and just like helping people get in the right mindset to do whatever other people think is weird. Like, for example, you as a jump rope coach, people thought that was weird,
Mm.
and you kind of like self talk yourself into motivating yourself. So, do you ever see yourself like as a public speaker doing motivational speaking, stand in
Man,
front of a crowd?
bro, if you knew me really well, it's the biggest fear of my life is talking in front of people, man. It's weird, isn't it? You probably think, like, I think a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you look kind of you look kind of confident, like the way you are on camera." And when I meet someone one to one, like, I won't be the quietest person in the room, but yeah, mate, when I was a kid, man, like when they used to do like presentations in school and stuff, I'd always try and call in sick when I had to do a presentation. I couldn't even talk in front of my school friends, like in my classroom. I don't know what it is. I've got a fear of talking in public, but I actually honestly was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, when as I get older, um, uh, I may slow down a little bit when it comes to like how I produce content or what content it is. And I think that the natural progression, I hope anyway, will be to try and um, inspire or try and give him more advice in terms of how to potentially go down a different path, or try a different thing. So I think that would entail me needing to probably do some public speaking potentially, or giving some talks. I like it. I like the idea of me being able to do it. Like, I can see myself doing it, but when I'm in that situation, like I had to give a speech here. I said I had to give a speech, but like I didn't. When we had the RA opening party, like the team said to me, "You got your speech ready?" And I was like thinking, "What speech? I don't want to do a speech." They're like, "People are coming to see you, man. You need to say something."
You're
I'm like,
right.
"Shit, all right." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's true. Obviously, I need to like welcome everyone, and I needed to cut the ribbon and everything." And they were like, "Oh, Sophia, my graphic designer, she was like, yeah, just write some notes and talk in front of the mirror, innit? It's like always good, like, to get some practice." And she was heaping all this pressure on me. I was like, "Shit, now I need to like practice in front of a mirror." And I was thinking, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't know what. I wasn't even gonna write notes. I was like, now she's telling me I should have notes, and then I was like, no, fuck this, I'm gonna wing it. So I winged it as always, and then I wasn't, I was, we cut the ribbon, we came upstairs, and then I was like, yeah, I had a few drinks inside me, and then I did another speech. So maybe in the future is the answer to your question, man. I need some help. Maybe I need some mentoring on how to be a public speaker. There's an art to that.
It
I tend to talk a
is,
lot as
and
well.
I
I talk
kind
a
of
lot.
don't
So
understand how people do it. The biggest part is like trying not to say a lot or say like a lot.
yeah,
Uh,
I say,
that's one of the things I used to,
um,
one of them comfortable
they say,
words, one of them safe words.
yeah, they say just accept silence, accept the pause. I'm gonna try that one time, one day. Listen, man, it was it was super cool chatting to you, man. I appreciate the time, and also just being a guest. I don't get many podcast invites, so to get one from you, I know you've interviewed some really cool people, so I'm happy to be among the list. And yeah, man, always blessed to have your support, and having you as an athlete has been like one of the best things that's ever happened to RA. Honestly, like you supported us from like day one. You've just been one of our main kind of points of like force out there in the US. And every time, like I said, I talk to people and then names get mentioned, like you're one of them. So I'm proud, man. I'm proud to have someone like you on the team. And anytime you're coming to the UK, come down and check me. We'll make some fire videos. Always a pleasure, bro. Major love.